5, 4. Woo, I think we did it. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, success. Michelle Waddell, thank you for being with us.
My pleasure.
We were just saying 2 weeks, and most of us are flying into San Diego. So 2 weeks till the One Conference 2019. We're both just saying that how excited we are about it.
Yeah.
And thanks again for, this will be your 3rd year attending and helping us plan for the last 2 years. So what are you most excited about this year?
I'm the most, well, a lot of things, but I think the camaraderie of everybody who's there for a shared purpose, neonatal brain, and doing a better job of taking care of those brains. Because you and I both know 25 years ago, we didn't do such a great job, but we didn't know better. So now that we know better, we do better, in the words of Maya Angelou. So
yes,
that's what I'm excited about. And that we're all there kind of talking about the same topic, but in different ways.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. We're all kind of brain geeks in one room.
Very geeky. I'm a huge brain nerd myself.
Yeah. So my staff
is transitioning, right? From baby brains to human to adult brains too, as we've all kind of stayed in this business for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't ever plan for that to happen, but as I started looking at nurses on my staff, I was responsible for a large neonatal staff and a huge healthcare system. And one of the responsibility of leaders is staff satisfaction, staff happiness, really, when you think about it. And it is it can be a struggle. And you wonder why sometimes people aren't happy, no matter what the system does for them, or you do for them, or this unit does for them. So I really began to explore that. And then I began to explore my own happiness with that. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of morphed into my work on just happiness, which I presented last year at the conference, looking at how you have to get right in your own heart before you can make anybody else happy. And then I took that a little further and started being aware of mental health issues that were around us. And you and I have talked about Dr. Shaw out of Stanford and his work with parents and depression and PTSD and those kinds of things. And he and I had talked about nurses. And I said I would love to look at some long-term studies at nurses in the NICU, long-term NICU nurses suffer from PTSD. Because when you look at the nurse at 20 to 25 years out, there's lots of health issues. They're all getting shoulders and new hips, and everybody's got plantar fasciitis, and many of them are on medicine. Lots of them are on medicine.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is really going on out there? It can't just be about being a NICU nurse. So then I started digging a little deeper, and I started asking more questions. And I have a very dear friend who's a mental health expert and does bereavement counseling and works with maternal loss and also with pediatrics. And she started sharing with me some of the statistics just in our world and then in the United States. And I said, we have to talk about this. And as you and I talked about earlier, it's kind of like that secret that you can't talk about. So I just started observing and talking and asking questions. And when people would say something to me about having anxiety, I would kind of say, can I talk to you about that? Like, what does that feel like? What does that look like? And it's real. It's very real. And I will share the numbers at the conference, but they're staggering.
Yeah.
I didn't believe them at first. And so I researched another article and another article, and then sent those articles to my friend who's the mental health expert. And I'm like, is this really for real? And she's like, yeah, those are legitimate resources.
Wow.
And those are real numbers. So then I dug a little deeper to see if there was any work on mental health issues in NICU nurses. I found one really good study. It was long and kind of old, and no one's looked at it again. I can't find it.
Wow.
So maybe they got so scared they stopped looking at it. But anyway.
Scared ourselves.
Yeah. So the focus of my talk is just going to be really about awareness, that it's really for real. And if you are one of those 1 in 4 people who suffers from depression or anxiety specifically, you work in our NICU, and and we have to take care of you, and we have to help you, and we have to be there for you. We have to acknowledge that that is a real thing. You know, so many people say, oh, you know, kind of like when you fall down, get up, brush it off, rub some dirt on it. And that's kind of what I saw in the literature, that people were just like, you're going to be fine. Just, you know, take a deep breath. And that's not really how that works. So it's real. And I think we need to talk about it. And I think we need to be there for those who deal with it. I mentioned to you, and I'll just say this, I have a friend who said that she's been dealing with anxiety since she was 5. And I was like, how did you know at 5 you had anxiety? That's not like, and she said, I just knew that I was afraid of something and I felt scared. My whole body was scared, but there was absolutely nothing to be scared of.
Wow.
Nothing going on. I had no childhood trauma. I had great parents. I lived, you know, I had good family, but I was terrified. And this feeling would come over me and then it would go away in time. And she said, of course, I didn't know that was anxiety when I was 5. I know what that is now. That feeling of dread and all of that kind of stuff. So I thought we'd have to talk about it. You know, I've talked about neonatal brains for, I don't know, 20 plus years, taking care of needle brains for 38 years. So we need to start talking about our own brains and how we take care of each other and those that work around us. So
yes,
I hope it goes. The title is a little daunting. I didn't, you know, you and I worked on that title, how to make it sciencey, but not scary, but real. And I think respectful.
Yeah.
And but we'll get through it. It'll happen. So
you're a popular girl there.
I don't know. All of a sudden now it's blowing up. So anyway.
So as a nurse leader, so I know you do a lot of different things now, but when you were a nurse leader, do you feel like, how can another nurse leader or even a nurse colleague, if they notice something or someone confides in them, some sadness or anxiety, or even just after a rough week, you know, that, you know, I mean, everybody's trigger, you know, is a little different. And I know that even after many years of working in the NICU, you know, you can just have that week that changes everything, and or that day or that shift or that moment. And what are the things that we could do better? Like, how can we support each other? How can we, without giving away everything I know you're going to share at the conference, but just for if some people aren't coming to the conference and they're watching this and they're feeling like, you know what, I don't know that we're doing enough in our unit. Maybe what's one little thing that they could do to make sure that at least we're not shoving it down and ignoring it, shoving it under the table. And like you said, just many nurses I know feel like I'm here to serve these babies and these families, and that's my why. I come back every day because of that. But it's not without a cost to some of us. So
it's a big cost. You know, I think the first thing is just, my husband and I had a long talk about this, just acknowledging it, acknowledging that is for real, not poo-pooing that they feel the way they feel, not questioning why they feel the way they feel. Acknowledging that is real, it's a real diagnosis. The literature is abounding. And then just helping them through that moment. They could literally be having an episode right there in the unit, right in front of you. So being supportive of that, maybe just telling them, hey, go take a walk. Let me do your next touch time. Let me help that mom with her cares. You know, just go take a walk. I'm here for you. Be gone as long as you need to be gone. I think just that immediate love and acknowledgement of there's something going on and he or she just needs a little break. I think the other thing we need to look at in our NICUs is a safe place to go. And I don't mean the break room, because, you know, we've also talked about the break room. There's another B word that goes along with break room. Negative talk in a break room. That's not the place to go if you're having a moment. So maybe a quiet room, a little Zen room, or maybe just go outside. There's wonderful literature about sunshine, outdoors, plants, live things.
So a patio, even like if it's
patio, just get out, just get a couple of breaths of fresh air, take a couple laps, you know, on the sidewalk outside your hospital, get yourself together and come back in, and not have to answer to anybody when you come back. I think if we just, I think the first thing is acceptance. We have to accept. And if we're those people who don't suffer, then we should feel very blessed and thankful and accept that there are others who do, and they may be all around us and we don't even know who they are.
Yeah, because it could definitely, like you said, for like the families we serve, or even like your friend who you mentioned, some people come to the NICU with still a desire. I mean, families don't have a desire to be there, but they're there, and they come with these maybe pre-diagnoses, or they've been kind of on the edge for a long time, or staff who've struggled for years and years, and the chronic anxiety and stress, and even like a new grad who comes in, and maybe has suffered, and now they're, just the idea they want to be here, but it's just overwhelming. I think just acknowledging this 1 in 4, like you said.
And I think the other thing you touched on, thank you for saying that with the new grad, because the numbers in college kids, 14 to 20, the numbers are staggering. And
wow,
the graph goes like this. So those are the young, they're our future in nursing. They're coming in so you and I can do something else and maybe retire, or maybe do this and not be at the bedside. They're our future. And if we don't help support them and grow them lovingly, with love in all aspects, we're going to lose them quickly.
Yeah.
And maybe literally. And that's another staggering statistic. So just know that those new kiddos, and I call them kiddos because I'm old, but coming out of school, they're suffering. Many of them are suffering. They put on this great bravado. They're cute and, they're bouncy, and they're suffering. So we have to pay attention to them.
Yeah.
Closely. Because you don't know which one is going to be the one who's just really having a tough time. So those numbers are even bigger than
those of us who have had the chronic exposure to trauma. And
yes.
Yeah. So tell people a little bit about what you do now. So you're a consultant and you have your own business. So tell people how they can get a hold of you, or I know you'll tell us at the conference too.
Oh, yeah. So I, as I mentioned, I will always be a NICU nurse, just like you'll always be a NICU nurse and nurse practitioner, though we don't practice at the bedside anymore. So I consult both in nursing leadership, team growing. I also consult everything about a neonatal brain. I said, I might not tell you what 2 countries touch each other in Europe, but I can tell you pretty much anything about a neonatal brain. It's sad to admit that, but it's true.
Me too.
We all have what we have. So I teach a lot about that. And now I have kind of gotten into this new world of looking at our own adult brain health and nursing brain health. And that's what I do. So I can be reached at my email address, which is just michellebwaddell@gmail.com. I can come to hospitals and do unit assessments. I speak at hospitals. I do nursing leadership and mentoring, where I actually go into the hospital and become part of the leadership team and help them figure out maybe why that team isn't thriving. And it may not be the team. It could just be maybe their mentors didn't mentor them well. It could be a great team. They just haven't been mentored. So anyway, that's kind of what I do, and it's exciting. And I love to present, that. I love to speak at conferences. I love to travel. There's nothing greater than traveling this country, and you travel the world, but I've only been to Central America, so that's my only place in the world. But every NICU has the same issues. Yeah. Every NICU has that person who makes you crazy. Every NICU has a leader who probably shouldn't be a leader. Every NICU is short-staffed. Every NICU needs more equipment. Every NICU has its frustrations. So my overall message is, you don't just live in your one little NICU. There's a whole world of NICUs out there who deal with all the same things you do. That was the biggest thing when I left my position and started to travel and consult. I would call my staff back and say, oh, you thought we had bad. You didn't see this NICU. So not comparing, just acknowledging that. those issues go on.
Yes.
They're
I
all
think
over.
we're more alike than different.
We are so much more alike than
Yeah.
different. But I will tell you how we're very much alike in that NICU nurses rock. And they're so extremely passionate about what they do, almost to their detriment. And I can't imagine being anything but a NICU nurse. So
yeah. No, I love that you have really brought this flavor of nurse self-care and nurse mental health to the one conference, because we do talk a lot about that the one person makes a big difference. But I think we all agree you can't serve from an empty cup, and NICU nurses, more than other, I mean, I guess I don't know that many other types of nurses, but I guess I know a few, but I feel like NICU nurses really give from their heart, their body, their soul. Even though our patients are tiny, they take everything out of us, and
they do.
And most of us never ever attend another lecture about anything adult health related ever after we leave nursing school and we get our first job in the NICU. We never look back. And even if you make us think of like a mom has any disease, we have to look it up because we don't even know what that is, because we only care about what happens to babies, which means that we don't ever keep up with what's important for us and our health, how we can take care of ourselves. And self-care is not selfish, right? We should all say this, right? Self-care is not selfish.
No.
And self-care is really the basis of all healthcare. And we do have to turn inward in these times and make sure that we take care of us so that we can continue to take care of these little people who need us and their families. So
that's kind of what we're going to talk about, is how do we take care of ourselves at that moment? Okay, even if you don't have a diagnosis of anxiety or depression or whatever, there are those moments in the NICU where you think, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. I can't do this anymore. I'm out. I may be out for 15 minutes. I just may be out permanently. So how do we help people in that moment? So we're going to talk a little bit about some immediate self-care measures in the NICU, what we can do in our NICU to make things better, what we can do at that very moment to help ourselves. I'm going to talk strictly about non-medicinal ways that we can help ourselves in the moment, whether it's a holistic approach or taking a walk or some type of
non-pharmacological management.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Because and we're not prescribers, so we're just going to have to talk about how we can take care of ourselves. And there are so many things we can do to take care of ourselves in that moment and long term.
Excellent. I think that's the best teaser of all. And we have 2 weeks until the conference, 2 days, I guess, 2 weeks and 2 days till the conference begins. If you want to still come, you can register on the website, synapsecare.com. We did put an option there. If your hospital wants to send a check, you can definitely have us send you an invoice. So we are definitely still leaving that open. And we're just so grateful for amazing experts like Michelle who come and spend their time. And Michelle's been part of our planning committee for the last 2 years and gives a few minutes of her Friday mornings when we get on the phone and connect and talk about what we can be doing to make the one conference even better. And so we're grateful for you. We're grateful for your expertise, and just please come if you can make it to California, February 3rd.
I have to give one plug for Kathi and the group. I think the biggest plus about this conference is it's completely planned, organized, and thought through by NICU nurses. No person out there who's telling anybody what to do or how to do it, or you need to do this, or every single person on that planning committee is a NICU nurse. And it's not run by doctors or anybody else. It's the love and passion, well, first of all, of you, Kathi, for brainstorming this and then bringing our group together to help with it. And I think that sends a powerful message. So it's NICU nurses planning and taking care of NICU nurses about NICU issues.
Yes.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, my little tagline is, it's NICU by NICU nurses for NICU nurses, but everyone is welcome.
Absolutely.
Because we do know that we love our other disciplines, but we also felt like the NICU nurse voice was very unique, and that there are other places that serve other disciplines in a different way. And we really wanted to make it nurses who love the brain. But we really do, we welcome everyone. We'll have RTs coming and psychologists coming and therapists coming, physicians coming. So you won't be the only one of your kind, but you will be probably outnumbered by us nurses. But you're probably used to that if you already work in the NICU.
Exactly right. We need us all. But I guess the point I was making in that is it is all about the NICU. Maybe I shouldn't have said NICU nurses. It is all about the NICU.
Yes.
And not some corporate structure who said, hey, we want you to put a conference together.
Yeah.
It's not like that. So
yeah, and most everyone on the planning committee is practicing. So they're, you guys, they're living the day-to-day life of the NICU. So they're managers, they're CNSs, they're educators, they're staff nurses. So quality improvement. So we've got just a nice gamut, NPs. So it's a gamut of practice and practice perspectives, but we are all nurses.
Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed of that, or, I don't make excuses for that. Certainly there are many other interdisciplinary conferences about the brain, but there is something special about what we do and the role that we have. So.
Absolutely. And I'm very proud and honored to be a part of that. So thank you for having me,
Michelle. All right.
All right. Thank you.
That's a wrap, girl. Thank you.
All right.
And I'll tag you on this and you can share it with your friends.
All right. Thanks so much.
Okay. Have a great weekend.